motion.
Do I need to read it? You read it. I'll make the
No,
motion.
sir, you don't need to read it, you just have the resolution.
Okay, I have a motion. I have a motion, I have a second.
Second.
Are there any other discussions or questions of Ms. Campbell?
I've got one.
Yes.
On April 1st, when the Census Bureau sends out these forms, is the committee dissolved then, or?
The purpose of the committee would be completed once the count starts, because we don't have any more boys to get out there.
So technically by April 1st, it is done.
Yes, sir.
Teresa, can anyone in this room volunteer to be on the committee? So anyone in the room can volunteer to be on the committee?
Yes, as long as there's not
Thank
more
you.
than 4 people.
Thank you.
All right, I have a motion and a second, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Any opposed?
Vote nay. And primarily, I just do not feel comfortable with this rush process, because I don't see how it's going to be inclusive. And with everything that has been appearing on the TV in the past couple of months, I just really don't trust people's information being out there with entities of government. I feel like it would be all right for ICE to show for somebody. I was confident.
Okay. Did you get that, Madam Clerk?
I will volunteer for the committee.
All right. Item 2.
Thank you.
Item 2, information technology, Bruce Brown, IT program. This is for information only.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Council, and staff. As an update to where we've been spending our capital, and where the plans are for it to go. I broke things down in a couple different categories for IT. Storage, that's basically our hard drives in your computer. Ours are a whole bunch of drives sitting out there on the network. And back in 2018, we spent about $87,000 on our main storage. In 2019, we added a little bit more to that storage, which brought it to 21 terabytes of what we use primarily for our day-to-day business. That only represents about 25% of our total storage. So there's the rest of it's in backup for storing video cameras, feeds and things like that. But that storage is a high performing, it's backed up every hour. And so that's where we do our business out of. In the future, we're looking at spending probably another $80,000 to replace that storage though, because technology, they go into life just in a short amount of time. So it's a constant drain of capital, but it's what we got to do to stay current. We'll also be having to buy video storage in the near future. Our server environment, that's the other side of the piece that we typically use. We have our storage and we have our servers. Our servers, we used to have, years ago, we had racks and racks of all these servers sitting out there, and they would do one thing, or basically one purpose. And we were actually running out of space where we're going to have to expand the data center, which would have been enormously expensive. But we spent this money here in 2019 to buy, they're called chassis, but basically it's a box that we slide server blades into, and each server blade can then run a virtual environment that runs maybe 100 servers on one blade. So we're able to condense our data center usage down to, we actually have a spare rack now. And then in 2019, we also bought our secondary. So we have one here at City Hall, but in our secondary data location, we basically have the same setup. So if something happens here at City Hall, those servers will automatically fire up, and with the redundant data on the storage, everything comes back up online. Sometimes the users don't even notice it's changed over. we need to replace our HT server that runs our utility billing, accounting, payroll, et cetera. It's getting time, and that's the expected price. The network, that's what ties all our computers together. And back in 2017, we spent about $49,000 on the core switches, which you think of a network. We got the center switch, and we have all these switches out on the peripheral that just branches out from. The core switches, of course, are much larger and very expensive, and we have two of those, one at each data center, and they watch each other. If one of them goes down, the other one takes over the duties. We're expecting probably in the next budget year, we're going to have to replace one of those because of again, technology. We got to keep up with it. And this is one of the focuses that the city manager wanted me to present to you today, was on security. We actually don't spend a lot right now on security as far as our content filtering. That's what prevents an employee from going to a malicious website or from even going someplace we don't want them to go, like Facebook or something like that, which is a dangerous area anyway. We have antivirus. Antivirus is great, but it's not the catch-all anymore. It used to be that's all you need to protect your computer. But nowadays, there's so many other threats the antivirus can't keep up with. There's a threat out now that will, if you click on a link and get this software, it will shut down everything on your computer except it itself, and then start doing all this dirty work, and you can't do anything to stop it. And that antivirus is totally ineffective against it because it changes its name and its signature every few minutes. So we're looking at some other solutions, and that's where we're expecting. We'd like to spend money this year. We've got some plans to buy software and hardware that will, if it detects abnormal activity on the network, it will shut that computer off the network completely, just remove it from the network, so it can't do any damage to the rest of the network.
Do you have a number on what you might be looking for to upgrade your system?
We think somewhere from 130 to 200,000 is still preliminary right now, but we've got money from scheduled in this year's budget, and there's some other funds that we were planning to spend, but we can't because tariffs killed us, and we don't have near enough money to buy those items we had planned on.
There's not another place where you can buy them, apparently you would think about getting them from China.
We haven't found anything else yet that would where it's not made in China. For that.
Okay, now how much additional money is the sheriff's gonna cost you to?
It was about 25. We saw like a 25% increase on these parts, which immediately blew out our budget.
Is it coming from a company that you're still able to do business with?
We're still able to do business with them, but it's a Chinese company.
How much are you talking about in dollars? That 25% runs it from?
I don't know exactly. I'm just going, one of my admins, he priced it out. I mean, we budgeted, and then
So
afterwards.
you got enough up to the 200,000 that you cut.
Right.
So give me a ballpark.
I don't know yet, sir. We're still negotiating with vendors right now, getting pricing, and they're telling us they're going to give us better pricing than what they've told us now. So we're still negotiating that out.
When we get numbers?
I think we should know within 2 months. And I've told, I feel confident coming back to you with a request if we have a need for more funding, or maybe something we could phase into next year's budget.
I just don't want us to allow, 25% tariff on our security of our system.
The tariff was not a problem. I'm sorry. The 25% tariff affected another project we had planned on for this year, which was a hardware thing where we were going to multiplex our fiber, and it was a network improvement that we can delay till next year, and put the money towards security, which is more important to us right now.
But
So, yeah, the
again,
tariff's not affecting the
okay,
security
but
thing, I'm
anything
sorry.
that we need to do to the system to upgrade it, I don't want us to allow for 25%.
No, sir, it was that, yeah, this other thing is something we can delay, but, we definitely want to,
But
we're
again,
bringing the focus on security. And I know, like, recently, all the 22 towns in Texas brought a lot of this to the forefront. Those towns actually shared a vendor, and that vendor was who was compromised and allowed all those towns to be, have the problems.
Bruce, did you get that information, whatever it is? Get back to Larry, let Larry set us up, let's go back through this. I'm like Mr. Jordan.
Well, as soon as we get a price tag
Yeah.
on the whole package, we'll let you know, and
Get back
we'll either do a phased approach or one fell swoop.
Okay, good.
But I just wanted to give you all an update on where we're, where things are going with this.
Bruce, we haven't had any threats or any breaches in our system.
Oh, yeah, we have. We've actually had, over the past few years, we've had 3 or 4 ransomware attacks
Okay.
where users clicked on a link in an email and it's actually encrypted all the files on all the network drives that they could access. We're able to use we basically shut down the access, restore from backup, and like right now I said, we back up every hour, so we really don't lose a lot of data when that happens, but it's still potential risk there.
When that happens, can we determine the employee that clicked on the link and just counsel them, to be a little bit more careful?
Oh, we have.
Right.
Yeah. Typically, we have in the past. We haven't had a ransomware attack in the last couple of years. We've made strides to curtail it as much as possible. And education has been one of our big things. That was our anti-phishing education there. It's that you all get invited to those training things. And we send out the regular emails. That testing is, when we first started that, we were over 20% of our employees clicked on things.
Inappropriate.
Wow.
Inappropriate, yes. Click things they shouldn't click. Now it's about 2%, it rides about 2%.
We don't have habitual people that click on them. It's just random, it's not the same person.
There's a couple people that are repeat offenders, and I've recently reached out to their supervisors to maybe get them, make sure they get their education, because they haven't taken the education. That's probably a step that we need to look at with HR maybe, is to say, if you don't take your education, there's gotta be some repercussion. Because it's very important to the safety of the city's network. Our firewalls are another area. What we have now is good, but we need better to protect the network. Just last week, we had to do a very manual process to block a bunch of attacks that we're being hit with. Every 3 seconds, somebody was trying to hack into our mail server. And we blocked them. It's all foreign entities. There's always a constant battle out there that we're fighting. We have CEO fraud going on. People emailing, saying that they're Larry Payson, trying to get invoices paid, things like that. Most every department head has supposedly sent the accounting department that they want their direct deposit changed to somebody else's bank account. Things like, it happens all the time. But I want to give you a little demo here. This will come up. Okay. An 8-character password. That's an easy one. Get some hard. So that's just a random 8-character password. They can break that in 5 seconds. We add a few more characters to it, and it gets a little longer. like a passphrase,
I couldn't remember the password.
so, well, it's actually a passphrase. This particular one is who, with a capital H, the number 8, my cheeseburger. You know, it's stupid, but, you know, things like that, or it's easy to remember, but extremely long, and you can see, they're not gonna crack it, and, ever. Because the longer the password, it makes so many alliterations, possibilities, that the computers can't try all those combinations fast enough before you change it again.
How often should we change our password?
We typically wanna go 90 days right now. It's not the best policy, actually, to change your password often. It's better to have a long password that you don't change as often, that you can remember, than it is to change it often. But, the criminal justice information system requires that we change it every 90 days. And we have to meet their password standards. It has to have